Women don't fall in love with men. They fall in love with the emotions. Men awaken in them. Nietzsche, love isn't your salvation. It's your crucible where you're forged or broken. Picture a man alone in the dark staring at his phone. The blue glow lights a message left on, read its silence sharper than any blade. Society sold you a lie. Be kind, be stable, be safe, and she'll stay. But Nietzsche saw through it a century ago. Women don't crave order. They're drawn to chaos, to the storm that rips their world apart. This isn't a theory, it's a truth carved in myth history and the pulse of desire. Here we don't romanticize pain. We name it. We watch it burn. Subscribe to Philosoul not to feel good, but to face what's real. You believed love was a ledger. Input, effort, output, loyalty. You became James' steady job, always there, the good man society exalts. You built her a fortress of predictability. Scheduled calls, thoughtful gifts, a life mapped to the last detail. You memorized her coffee order, planned weekends months ahead, called just to check in. But she didn't settle into your carefully crafted world. She fled to a musician who couldn't pay rent, a drifter with a guitar and a spark in his eyes. The silence after she left wasn't empty. It was a verdict cold and deliberate on your safety. You thought you were her shield. You were her cage. Desire isn't a contract, it's a pulse. Deep in the bloodstream, women are wired for intensity, not comfort. Nietzsche's Dionysian impulse, the raw, chaotic force beneath civilization's veneer, draws her to the man who disrupts, not the one who organizes her calendar. Helen of Troy didn't choose Paris for his stability. She chose the unknown, the risk that set empires ablaze. Biology doesn't negotiate with your good intentions. It demands a spark that ignites the primal. You thought she wanted a partner, a collaborator. She wanted a force, a man who makes her feel alive. Stability feels like stagnation. Chaos feels like breath. When she laughed with the musician, it wasn't betrayal. It was her psyche responding to a man who didn't need her to complete him. Your predictability made you a background character. His unpredictability made her the audience to his. You made her your altar, your purpose. That's not love, it's idolatry. Nietzsche warned, the same emotions in man and woman are different in tempo. You sought harmony, a shared rhythm to anchor your soul. She sought a dance with fire, a collision that sparks something eternal. You didn't lose her to him. You lost her to your own surrender, to the moment you knelt to her whims. She wasn't your mirror reflecting your virtues. She was a maze twisting you toward your own illusions. Your efforts weren't devotion. They were a leash you tied around your own neck, tightening with every compromise. What if love was never a refuge, only a test of your own fire? This myth runs deep, etched into the stories men are fed from boyhood. Be the provider, the protector, the one who sacrifices. But sacrifice without an edge is erasure. James didn't just lose his girlfriend. He lost the part of himself that could have said no, that could have walked away first. You've seen it, men bending, pleading, reshaping themselves to fit her script. Every compromise is a brick in their own prison, a wall they build with their own hands. Nietzsche saw this in the myths of antiquity, where women like Ariadne didn't cling to Theseus for his reliability, but for the labyrinth he dared to enter. The labyrinth isn't her heart, it's your soul, and every step you take to please her is a step deeper into disorientation. You thought you were building a life together, but you were building a cage for one. She didn't want to be saved. She wanted to be challenged. The musician didn't offer her a future. He offered her a moment, raw and unscripted. Moments outweigh plans. You knew her favorite coffee order, but he made her forget her own name. Desire doesn't care about your resume. It's not about what you do. It's about what you awaken. Nietzsche's Dionysian force isn't a gentle breeze. It's a storm that tears down walls, and you were busy reinforcing them. The descent isn't just her leaving, it's the realization you engineered your own defeat. You thought love was a transaction, a balance sheet of gestures and rewards. But love is a battlefield, and you brought a pen instead of a sword. Every time you said yes when you meant no, every time you stayed when you should have left, you handed her the weapon. She didn't wield it. You did. The maze isn't her, it's your weakness mirrored back in her indifference. Consider the stories you were told: the knight saves the princess, the hero wins the maiden. But those are half-truths. The princess doesn't love the knight for his armor. She loves him for the dragon he slays. The maiden doesn't choose the hero for his loyalty. She chooses him for the danger he embodies. Nietzsche saw it in the Bacchanalian frenzies, where women didn't worship order, but chaos, dancing to gods of wine and madness. You thought you were her hero, but you were her scribe, dutifully recording a story she didn't want to read. You didn't fail her. You failed yourself. You didn't stop at failure, you doubled down. You chased harder, texted faster, became the man who's always there, always waiting. But the more you orbited her, the further she slipped away. Picture at a bar, two men. One's polite, well-dressed, asks about her career and offers a drink. He's safe, forgettable of face in the crowd. The other leans and smirks, says something that should offend but doesn't. His confidence, his edge, makes her laugh. He gets her number. You saw it and it burned. You raged after everything I did, but she didn't leave because you were too good. She left because you were too tame. Women don't choose the provider when desire is the judge. Cleopatra didn't seduce Caesar with predictability. She intoxicated him with power plays, with the thrill of the forbidden. Salome didn't dance for Herod because he was steady. She danced for the danger in his eyes, for the chaos he could unleash. Biology craves the untamed, the man who carries chaos in his veins but doesn't spill it recklessly. It's not about survival, it's about the pulse of life. Availability kills desire. The man who seeks her approval becomes a shadow, predictable and small. The one who doesn't text back, who seems indifferent, she can't shake him. Nietzsche's will to power explains it. She's drawn to the man who can't be controlled, not the one who bends to her whims. Your eagerness was a signal not of love, but of need, and need repels like a flame snuffed out by too much air. You erased yourself to keep her. Every compromise was a betrayal of your soul. Schopenhauer saw it. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot do what he wills. Your desire to please wasn't devotion, it was a chain. You thought you were winning her, you were losing yourself. The cage wasn't her creation, it was yours, built from the fear of being alone, from the lie that her presence was your worth. The leash you tied wasn't love, it was surrender. You thought it bound you to her, but it only bound you to your own despair. She didn't hold it. She walked away, leaving you tethered to nothing. Did she ever love you? Or just love what you gave up to keep her? The collapse is more than her absence. It's the shattering of your illusions. You thought control meant keeping her close, but control is what you lost. You became the man who waits, who checks his phone, who measures his worth by her replies. Every unanswered message was a mirror, showing not her cruelty, but your desperation. Nietzsche warned in Thus spoke Zarathustra. You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star, but chaos isn't begging, it's commanding. You mistook devotion for strength, but devotion without boundaries is weakness. History proves it. Lord Byron, the mad poet, was a wreck, debt scandal, chaos incarnate. Yet women flung themselves at him, not despite his flaws, but because of them. Casanova wasn't rich or handsome, he was dangerous. A man who rewrote the rules of every room he entered. Even Heathcliff, the brooding monster of Wuthering Heights, had Catherine obsessed not because he was good, but because he was untamed. These men weren't safe. They were storms, And storms don't apologize for their power. You apologized for yours. You dimmed your edges, softened your voice, became the man who doesn't offend. But offense wielded with precision is a spark. The man at the bar didn't win her because he was better. He was bolder. He didn't ask for permission to exist. He claimed the space. You asked. And every question was a surrender. This isn't just about one woman. It's the pattern. The coworker who reshapes his life for a girlfriend who grows distant. The friend who loses himself in a marriage that feels like a script. They believe the lie: be good, be safe, and you'll be loved. But goodness without fire is invisible. Safety without edge is a trap. Nietzsche saw it in the ancient rituals where women didn't flee danger, they ran toward it, drawn to gods of chaos over gods of order. You thought you were her sanctuary, but she didn't want safety. She wanted a storm. Every text you sent, every gesture to prove your worth was a step toward your own erasure. The mirror wasn't her eyes. It was her silence reflecting the man you'd become, small, reactive, tethered to a leash you crafted yourself. Her tests, her silence, her chaos, let them come. Don't flinch, don't chase. A storm that can't move you learns to respect you. The truth cuts deeper than her absence. Women don't fall in love with men. They fall in love with the emotions men awaken. And the strongest emotions come from controlled chaos. Nietzsche's Übermensch isn't a reckless beast. He's a disciplined, storm-wielding chaos with precision. You didn't fail because you lacked goodness. You failed because you lacked edge. Danger mastered is magnetic. The pirate, the outlaw, the man who disrupts. He's not a fantasy. He's a signal. Women's desire responds to the man who carries risk without crumbling under it. Byron's scandals didn't repel. They drew women like moths to flame. Controlled danger isn't reckless. It's alive, a pulse that says, I am here and I am not tame. Indifference is power. The man who doesn't need validation doesn't orbit. He stands. The noble soul has reverence for itself, Nietzsche wrote. She chases the man who has better things to do, the one who doesn't measure his worth by her glances. Your need made you small. His self-containment made him vast, a horizon she couldn't cross. Chaos mastered is rebirth. Nietzsche's command, become who you are, is a gauntlet thrown at your feet. Jung echoed it. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. You don't rise by winning her. You rise by claiming yourself, forging a soul that doesn't bend. The storm isn't a mask you wear. It's a fire you carry, burning away what's weak. You're not her mirror or her leash. You're a storm, choosing when to rage, when to still. The storm isn't chaos unleashed. It's chaos directed, a force that reshapes without destroying. What if the man she can't forget is the one you're afraid to become? The reckoning isn't about her. It's about you. Love isn't the goal. It's the arena. The man who masters chaos doesn't chase desire. He summons it. Picture him calm, not soft, confident, not loud. When he speaks, people lean in. When he's silent, they wonder. He doesn't follow her rhythm, she follows him. This isn't manipulation. It's nature. Nietzsche's will to power isn't control over others. It's control over yourself. Mastery demands sacrifice. You'll lose the approval of the weak, the comfort of the predictable. You'll stand alone not because you're unloved, but because you're unbreakable. Chaos isn't a tool, it's a force of nature. History is littered with men who danced with chaos and lost Byron dead at 36, consumed by his demons. Van Gogh, brilliant but broken, cutting off his own ear. They burned bright but burned out. You must burn brighter, longer, with control. The alternative is the man who never risks, who stays safe, who builds cages instead of storms. He doesn't lose women. He loses himself in the quiet despair of a life unclaimed. The musician wasn't better than you. He was bolder. He didn't offer her a plan. He offered her a pulse. You can't outplan a storm. You have to become one. Be intense, not angry. Uncompromising, not cruel. The warrior philosopher doesn't bend, but he doesn't break others needlessly. You didn't lose her. You lost the man you became to keep her. The illusion was that love meant safety, that her desire could be bought with stability. Nietzsche saw through it. Woman is essentially unpeaceful, like a cat. She craves the storm, not the cage. You chased her validation, but validation is a trap. True power is self-possession. The man who stands anchored, indifferent, unpredictable, untamed, doesn't summon her. She comes to him. Love was never the cure. It was the mirror showing you where you knelt. You don't need her closure. You need your clarity and a closed door. Chaos isn't a tactic, it's a religion. It costs the approval of the weak, the safety of the predictable, but it gives you yourself. If you've walked through this fire, comment chaos below. No man should feel he's breaking alone. For more truths that cut through the noise, join the Philosoul channel. If this shook something awake and you share it, there's a man out there still sleeping. This is where the illusion ends, and something ancient begins.
Thank you for watching. Walk your path with quiet strength.